Kirk trying to win it to Thielen, caught at the 5!
I got 3 words for you. You like that?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Skull Network. I am Nick, and welcome to Week 8 NFL Picks. Quickly before we get started, I am currently recording this a little bit before Monday Night Football of Week 7, so the picks are not completely set from last week as far as what my record is, but as it sits, I am 10-3, which is easily the best record that I've had so far this year in any single week, so hopefully we can go as good as 11-3. If not, then we go 10-4. Still not terrible, and it's definitely better than Week 6. Before we get started on the picks, the teams on bye this week are the Arizona Cardinals, the Washington Football Team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans. But let's not waste any more time, let's get right into the picks. Thursday Night Football for Week 8 is going to pit the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons managed to lose last week somehow to the Detroit Lions on the Todd Gurley play that everyone has seen by now, which is weird because Todd Gurley is usually great at not scoring towards the end of the game. That being said, the Falcons are now 1-6, and the Panthers have just been one of those teams that's kind of up and down right now. DJ Moore played very well last week, and I think that the Falcons are just going to continue to struggle. I know I said last week that they might start figuring things out now that they have Raheem Morrison, but I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done against the Panthers. Taking the Panthers. Moving on to the noon games, I'll start with the easiest one to pick, as much as I hate to say it right now. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers have been on a roll, and the Minnesota Vikings, in my personal opinion, I'm pretty sure they lost to the bye week. We're not sure how many players they're still going to have from this team when it comes time for this game. We don't know if Harrison Smith or Kyle Rudolph or Riley Reif is going to be on this team. But as of right now, the Vikings have gotten worse over the bye week. I'm very scared for this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers put up more than they did last time. So, as much as I hate to do this, as I always do, I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. But I want the Vikings to win, and I want you to always know that. Next, we're going to move on to the Patriots and the Bills, and the Bills took a step back a little bit, but not as much as the Patriots did. The Patriots ended up using Jarrett Stidham towards the later part of last week's game, and it does not seem like they're going to be going anywhere. It doesn't seem like they're even going to be winning their own division, which will be the first time in a while. While the Bills are struggling just a tad bit, they're definitely still a better team than the Patriots, which is why I'm going to take them. Alright, we're moving on to the fastest pick of the week. This is the Chiefs, and this is the Jets. I will be taking the Chiefs, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs put up 70 points. Now we're going to move on to the Raiders and the Browns. The Browns are now 5-1, which I don't think anyone expected, especially after how Baker Mayfield started last week. 0 for 5, no yards, and an interception to start off the game. Now, Odell Beckham is out, but let's face it, he hasn't been doing a ton this year, and won't be doing anything this year because he is now out. And the Raiders are another one of those teams, kind of like the Panthers, up and down. They've had some good moments, but they've also had some that are not so great. Even though it's easy on paper to look at this and say, oh, the Browns will probably win, they have a better record, Baker Mayfield played super well last week, I think it's going to be a little closer than people expect. I feel like the Raiders tend to play very well against these teams that people expect to blow them out. Case in point, Kansas City. But I'm still going to take the Browns, but not by a ton here. Next, we're going to move on to the Lions and the Colts. And the Lions managed to pull out that win against Atlanta last week, but they didn't really earn it, and I don't think they're going to earn another win here this week. The Colts defense is still one of the better ones in the league. They had a week off to get some rest, and I think that that's going to help them take out the Lions this week. Next, we're going to move on to the Titans and the Bengals. Joe Burrow and that team still continues to struggle. Joe himself has been playing quite well, actually, but the Titans are 5-1. They just took their first loss of the year to the still undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, the last undefeated team in the league. And I think that the Titans will be able to pull this one out. Cincinnati, again, not playing very well. Joe Burrow, while I like him, I just don't think Tennessee is going to be a team that he's going to be able to really compete with. Next, we're going to move on to the Rams and the Dolphins. And as I've said, Monday Night Football has not yet happened, so I don't know if they lost to or beat the Bears at all, so I can't put that into my opinion for this game. The Dolphins are starting Tua Tagovailoa. It's going to be his first start. Probably going to be some nerves there, but I think most of us expect Tua to play very well, but just the fact that it's his first game and we don't know what we're going to get from him, I'm going to take the Rams very tentatively here. Moving over to one of the better games of the week, and one of the ones where I see people picking a somewhat of an upset a little bit more, it's the Steelers and the Ravens. The Steelers are the last undefeated team, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago, and the Ravens are now 5-1. It's going to be a tough race with that division in the AFC North. It's going to be one of these two teams, obviously. I don't know, maybe the Browns too, who knows at this point, but I like the Steelers just a little bit more. That defense is so good, and I have a good feeling that they'll be able to slow down Lamar Jackson and whatever attack that the Ravens are going to try and put up. So I'm going to take the Steelers here. I'm going to say they stay undefeated. Next, we're going to move on to the Chargers and the Broncos. And if you remember last week, in last week's picks, I definitely said that Justin Jefferson is more deserving than Justin Herbert for Rookie of the Year, at least offensive. I'm starting to take that back now. I don't know what Justin Jefferson's going to do this week, but I know that Justin Herbert has joined Pat Mahomes as the first two quarterbacks to throw for 250 plus yards in their first 6 games, I believe, of their career, which is, pretty damn good company to be in. And Drew Lock has been playing pretty well since he came back for the Broncos, but there's still missing pieces there. Melvin Gordon's playing pretty good, put up a couple touchdowns last week, but I think that Justin Herbert is going to be able to pull out the win on this one, and as we keep saying, he's going to be a great thing in this league. I'm taking the Chargers. Next, we're going to move on to probably a really good game depending on how Monday Night Football goes here. And by that I mean we're looking at the Saints and the Bears. And the Saints, again, they're still a pretty formidable team in the NFC, but it looks like the Bears might win the NFC North at this point. And this one could be close. The Bears have been playing really well against very good teams as well, but there's just something about them that I still don't like. I don't know if it's the fact that Nick Foles is a major game manager, even though he's game managing very well. And I know that Drew Brees has been declining, but he was able to pull things out against Carolina last week, which isn't all that impressive. But I think this will be more of my upset of the week. I'm going to take the Saints on this one. This game is going to be really good right here. This is the 49ers and the Seahawks. And as we know, the Seahawks played that amazing game against Arizona last week on Sunday Night Football, and it might be the game of the year. And the 49ers won against New England, which at this point is not very impressive at all. Jimmy G had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and things were completely carried by the run game, 3 touchdowns and all that. And it was a very strange game. It's really hard to tell what kind of Jimmy G we're going to be getting. I think that the Seahawks are going to bounce back on this one. And I know these games between divisional opponents are usually played pretty close. Case in point, the Seahawks and the Cardinals game that just happened. But I think the Seahawks are going to run away with this one just a little bit. I'd say they win by at least 10 points. I'm not sure what the spread is, but I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'm tired of watching the NFC East, guys. This is ridiculous. We're talking about the Cowboys and the Eagles, and the Cowboys might be without Andy Dalton, so that means they're down to their third string quarterback. Maybe. We don't know at the moment. I don't even know who it is, but I know that their second string at this point, I believe, played in the XFL or the AFL or whatever one of those leagues the players are coming out from now. Both of these teams are just absolute garbage. I don't understand. I feel like they should make a rule where not every division winner gets to be in the playoffs. If you're bad, you're bad. You stay out of the playoffs. But considering the state that the Cowboys are in right now, I don't know if I could see them even winning another game, maybe against the Vikings or something. I don't know. That game's probably going to be hard to watch, but I'm going to take the Eagles here, just not by a ton. I think this might be a very low-scoring game. And lastly, we're going to look at Monday Night Football with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Giants. The Bucs have been playing very well. Tom Brady is playing like his old self. It looked a little rough there at the beginning of the season, but things have picked up. They're probably going to have Antonio Brown in the lineup at that point, and that is a terrifying lineup to think of. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. Granted, not all these guys are still in their primes, but damn can they put up some good numbers. And the Giants, they're still not playing very well. Daniel Jones completely butchered it on that 80-whatever yard run, although good for him on being the fastest ball carrier of the season so far. Maybe behind DK Metcalf at this point. I don't see this one being super close. I'm going to take the Buccaneers. And that is going to wrap up Week 8 picks here over at Skull Network. If you guys think any of these picks are great, if you think they're awful, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to talk football with all you guys. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the button down below to subscribe. If you like the video, give it a like. And if you want to share the video, share these picks with anyone you know, then hit the share button and use whatever platform you want. If it has to go through Facebook, whatever. If you give it to the crack dealer on the corner, then that's totally okay too. You guys already know. This has been Nick with Skull Network, and I will see you guys in the recap of the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers, Part 2. Adios.